Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Victoria. This video today is talking about some mistakes people make when they're buying cars. I wanted to do this video because I have nieces and nephews that just got their licenses and they are interested in, the next step in getting cars. And I just wanted to quickly talk to them so that if I can save them some headaches down the road, then that's what I'm gonna do. So one of the mistakes people make is buying a brand new car, right? If you can afford a brand new car, go for it. I have nothing against brand new cars. What I'm trying to say is, the minute you drive off that parking lot, that car loses some value, okay? You have to keep that in mind when you are buying a brand new car, especially when you're a first-time car buyer, okay? Do your market research. Research the car. Not every car holds its value, right? So the value on a Honda is much better than the value on a Hyundai. So if you are buying a brand new Hyundai and you drive off the lot, if you came back 6 months later or a year later trying to trade that car in, chances are that car's value has dropped $3,000 to $4,000. So research the car so you know what you're getting into. When you drive up to that parking lot to look at cars, you better know exactly what you can afford, okay? Because the minute you get out of your car, there's a salesperson ready to tell you what you should be able to afford. You have to know not only what the car costs and what you can afford, but you have to factor in insurance. So make sure you know walking into that dealership what you're willing to pay for that car. And be okay with walking away. It is just a car. The third mistake I want to talk about is not negotiating. So I went with a friend to buy a car. She was buying a brand new Nissan Rogue, right? And the interest rate she was quoted was 8%. And we looked at her like, no, that is a brand new car. You should not be paying 8% on nothing. So we suggested she try the credit union. Now, mind you, the credit union, I had to write it down so I don't forget, okay? So let's unlock this one. The credit union was offering her 3.94% on a 60-month loan and 4.19% on a 72-month loan. And not only that, they were offering her, she didn't have to make any payments for 3 months, right? So she took that information back to the car dealership, and guess what? Suddenly, they were more understanding, and they decided to give her a loan with a 0.9% interest on a brand new car. So don't be afraid to speak up, to negotiate and tell them, no, I'm not paying that and I'm okay to go down the road and see what else I can get. Chances are their dealerships 5 minutes apart from you. So if one dealership is not going to compromise or negotiate with you, go ahead down the road and you will find somebody that would. Cash equals buying power. If you have cash on hand, they are more flexible with you, okay? And not only that, the more cash you can put down on a car, the better off you are. Not only do you walk out of there with a cheaper financing, but you walk out of there with a more affordable plan that you can pay for, a more affordable car you can afford. So especially to my nieces and nephews, you're not in a rush to buy a car. Save your money and have cash on hand. The next point I want to make is rolling a negative into a new car. A big no-no. Don't do it. For those of you that may not understand what I mean. So if you owe $5,000, like you brought a car in that you want to trade, right? And you have $5,000 balance on the car. Instead of paying off that $5,000 to the dealership, you then take that $5,000 and add it onto another car and finance the whole car. So if you went in there and your new car cost $20,000, you're now going to be financing $25,000, right? And including in those finances are the taxes, tags, and fees, right? And you're paying taxes on the $25,000 because they're financing the whole thing. Don't do that. If you do not have the money to pay off the first car and then jump into the new car, chances are you cannot afford this car. If you can't afford the $5,000 you owe on this car, why can you afford the $25,000? Don't do it. Pay off what you owe or look at other options for cars. Okay? Auctions have great cars. They do. The only problem is you have to know what you're looking for when you go to an auction. And you have to take someone that is knowledgeable about cars. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. When I was in college, my sister was in, I think she was a junior in high school. She worked at IHOP, saved her coins, and she was so excited because she had $1,500 to spend on a car. She and my mother went to an auction. She called me, she found a car, she was excited. We were excited for her. 20 minutes later, they had to pull over on the road because the car started to smoke. Turns out there was something wrong with the transmission and some other issues, I don't really remember. But we were not going to spend $4,000 on a car that she only spent $1,500 on. So we had to just let that car go. Imagine how devastated she was after saving all your coins, especially when you're in high school, right? And you don't even get to reap the benefit because they made a bad purchase. So please take someone that knows about cars. For example, some mechanics will tell you, or people that know about cars will tell you, especially they don't want you to start the car for them. They want to hear it. They want to hear that cold start because they can get a lot of information on the car just by, starting the engine and hearing what it sounds like. Also, they check the oil in the car, and based on the oil, it tells them the condition of the car. So if you do not know anything about cars, don't go to an auction by yourself. Take a mechanic, or better yet, take the car, drive it, if they allow you to drive it, to the nearest mechanic shop, get them to do an inspection for you. I'd rather you lose $50, $100, $200 than to lose $1,500 or whatever else you pay for the car. So do yourself a favor, take someone that knows about cars so that you don't lose out. Not considering the whole picture, right? So that is called the total cost of the car. Now, I'm not just talking about the car and the car insurance. Let's talk about gas. Gas prices. Some cars don't take regular gas. You have to go for the premium, okay? There's a cost difference to that. So if you're in one of the luxury cars and you have to get a premium gas, you have to factor that into your budget. Take into consideration how far you have to drive. First of all, there's two things wrong with that picture. If you drive far distances, like if you drive about 100 miles a day for your job, not only are you putting more miles on the car, which then depreciates even more, but you are drowning. The cost of gas is probably killing you, especially if you have a big car. If you have a little car, you're not gonna feel it. But if you have a huge truck and it requires luxury gas, you are killing yourself. So keep that in mind. Also, the value of the car is depreciating. So if you drive further for work, buy a beater, buy a cheaper car, because it makes no sense when you go to trade that car in, it's not worth anything. Apart from that, you also then have to consider tires, oil changes. Let me tell you, the oil change cost on a Toyota is definitely cheaper than a Lexus or a Mercedes. So keep that in mind as well when you are buying a car. You know, maintenance, tires, hell, the tires for one car, if you buy tires from Walmart, obviously it's more economical than if you go to the dealership. And some of these places, these luxury cars, you can only get tires from certain places. So you have to consider all of that. You have to consider, you know, emergencies that happens with the cars. So it's not just about getting in the car. You have other expenses related to a car. So then, before you buy a car, ask yourself, can you afford it? Can you afford it? Right? We all love cars, and I want you to buy the car that you love and dreaming of, and you know, the one you sit in and you flip your hair, all that good stuff. But you have to be honest. You don't want that car to own you. If you cannot afford the car, do not buy it. There is nothing wrong with buying a cheaper car until you can afford a car. So that's all I have to say. If you have a unique car buying experience you would love to share, please comment down below. If you are getting ready to make your car purchase, good luck. Again, take someone that knows about cars so that you do not lose out in the end. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, be blessed. Bye.